Hi, how are you? I'm so glad you're here to join me today. We're gonna do a nice sequence, and thank you for giving yourself this gift of your practice. As I always say, remembering that we are practicing, so any kind of self-doubt or, gosh, I guess I'm just talking about myself, and lists and expectations, to let that go. Not that you can control it, but to just let it kind of float out of your consciousness. Can't stop those thoughts from coming in, but just letting them pass you by right now. There's nothing that's going to change in the course of this practice right now. So let's just be here, bring your awareness to your mat, finding a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. I'm kind of sitting in a crisscross applesauce sort of a position. Sometimes it's comfortable to sit up on your knees, whatever it is that gives you a chance to just settle. So find what that is for you, just to kind of settle and begin to slow down your breath. Maybe closing your eyes to give yourself a little space here. Breathing deeply in and letting it all go out. This might be the first deep breath you've really taken today. So just take a moment here, inhaling and exhaling to settle. As you know, I often like to have a mantra of some kind to keep myself focused in the here instead of the there. And today, I'm going to use my friend. Inhale, my friend. Exhale, my friend. Thinking about being a friend to yourself. Speaking things that a good friend would say to you. Not that inner dialogue that we like to keep sometimes. Inhaling, my friend, and exhaling, my friend. Do a couple deep breaths on your own. Inhaling, my friend, and exhaling, my friend. Open up your legs as wide as is comfortable for you. We're going to start with a few lateral bends, flexing your knees, feeling that energy coming from your center, shooting out on either side here, stretching your arms nice and long. Let's reach over to the right, up and over. Exhaling, my friend, inhaling up, and just getting some simple movement in, starting it out. Exhale. Inhale and exhale, maybe bringing a smile to your lips. You don't have to feel happy to make a smile on your face. Creating a space for yourself that's positive. Thinking of the compliments a friend might give you just for taking this time for yourself, and exhale. Moving a little bit on your own here. Inhale. Feeling that lift out of your hips. And exhale. Inhaling up. And exhale. Bringing your legs together to the center and sitting up on your knees. You might want to grab a blanket for this if your knees need a little bit of padding. And I encourage you to do that. We're just going to work a little bit in our center area here, doing kind of a modified sun salutation. So starting right here up on your knees, we're going to inhale all the way up and exhale, hands pressed together and come to prayer, feeling a little bit of that engagement of your upper body here. Inhale up and exhale, hands to prayer. This time as we inhale up, we're going to fold all the way forward, pulling your fingers forward and your bum backwards. I'm going to turn to the side to show you. Reaching all the way down here, feeling the lift of your abdominal wall and allowing yourself to settle into a child's pose for just a deep inhale and an exhale here. Reaching all the way up the way we came, so feel that separation between your fingertips and your tailbone, lifting all the way up to the sky and coming back, hands to prayer. Let's repeat that, lifting up. Inhale up, exhale, pressing those fingers together, feeling the knitting together of your ribs here. Inhale up, Exhale, reaching all the way forward, stretching your tailbone back, down into that child's pose. Get comfy in child's pose for a moment here, feeling that deep breath deeply into your ribs, right on the top of your legs. Inhaling and exhaling. Perfect. Pushing yourself to all fours. If that blanket feels comfortable, you can even fold it a little bit. You can fold your mat too, or your towel, or whatever you're practicing on today. Finding yourself into a neutral position here. We're going to take a deep inhale, flexing the head up, the tail up, and exhale, starting from your center, pulling everything in, kind of like a little bit of a crunch here, so we're engaging those abdominal muscles, the center of our body. Inhale, my friend, and exhale. You know, if you're anything like me, part of the reason I'm wearing my teenage half top today is because I don't love my center. Even though it's a part of my body and it's the center of my movement, it's just not my favorite part of myself. Even though I have 2 kids and yada, 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 my body's done a lot, yeah, we get it. So I'm trying to just be okay with it. You don't have to like it, but maybe just like we come into right now a neutral spine, just be neutral. You know, you don't have to hate it, you don't have to like it. Just embracing who you are right now. Take a look at your fingers, and that may not resonate with you, and that's totally fine. It's a little bit of self-therapy, so, you know, forgive me. Fingertips facing, point your fingers facing front, facing this side of your mat. Tucking your toes, maybe giving yourself a little bit of a handprint forward. We're gonna push our hips back, knitting our ribs together into our first down dog of the day. Inhale here, and exhale, return to all fours. One more time, inhale up, pedaling out your feet just a little bit, returning to all fours. Coming back to that neutral position, again, focusing on your center today, taking your hand, placing it on your belly button if that's comfortable for you, and taking a deep breath in to open, like you're opening up a door, pulling that whole rib side open. And then exhale, almost like you're doing a little bit of a crunch to the other side. Inhale up, and exhale. Inhale, this time we're gonna extend our arm all the way up, and we're gonna thread the needle. So taking that hand, pulling it through, allowing your cheek to rest, and reaching that top leg forward. Taking some nice deep breaths. Feel like you're taking a deep breath right in between your shoulder blades here. Is inhaling and exhaling. You're not letting go of the center abdominal wall. Inhale. My friend, on an exhale, replacing that hand and reaching all the way up. Repeat that on the other side. I'm going to turn back to face you so it makes a little bit more sense. Taking your opposite hand this time. Inhaling, open up like you can like pull that center part of your body and rotate it. And exhale. Feel like a little bit of a crunch here. Same kind of thing we were doing with our cat-cows. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Open that arm all the way up. Nice and wide. And exhale. Cross the arm underneath. Reaching the top arm forward. Take a deep inhale, my friend. And exhale. Feel the connection of the tops of your feet onto the earth. Feel the connection of your hands, your fingertips. Like you're settling in and placing roots. Awesome. Give yourself a nice job on that one, reaching all the way up with a big, deep inhale. And exhale, returning to all fours. Taking your, either leg you want, I'm gonna start with my right leg. Reaching that leg back, feel energy shooting out of your heel here. Really feeling maybe a little bit of a stretch in the back of your leg, lifting your knee, engaging those quadricep muscles. Again, knitting your ribs together, feeling the lift in your lower abs, the connection of your hands onto the earth. Yeah, I know it's a lot. All we're doing is reaching our leg back, stretching it out nice and long. On an inhale, flexing your foot and lifting up opposite arm, taking a balance here. Inhale and exhale. This time, inhale, extending your fingertips, extending your foot, and exhale, feel yourself again in that little bit of a crunch. This belly button's getting a lot of attention today. Inhale up Feel like you can move that belly button into your spine almost. Feel that nice crunch position. Inhale and return the way we started. Lift that other leg behind, stretching your toes on the ground, stretching out the back of your leg, just rocking back and forth a little bit. And lift. Feel the engagement of that leg. Feel like you could really shoot and grow your leg like 2 more inches. Reaching and extending the opposite arm forward. Big inhale and exhale. Inhale. Stretching and growing and exhale. Teenage me did not want to grow anymore. I'm nearly 6 feet tall, but now, you know, I am who I am. So I guess I'll also try to stretch with you here. Reaching everything out, stretch, finding that balance, that core. Wonderful and awesome. Taking a handprint forward, maybe even moving your blanket out of the way this time. We're gonna push up into a down dog again, and this time we're gonna take a moment to settle in. Take 2 or 3 breaths here. If you know me, you know I love that lion breath. I like to release my jaw, stick out my tongue. This is a good private moment to do that. Basically, inhale and exhale. It even sounds lovely, right? Inhaling through your nose and exhale. Reaching your right leg up into a 3-legged dog. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. One more time, inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Placing that foot, planting it, turning out your back leg so you can move yourself right into a warrior 2. And yes, I know I'm facing to the back. Hopefully you can follow along with me here. Reversing your warrior. Stretching the nice long stretch all the way from your hip up through your fingertip here. Big, deep inhale, exhale. Hands plant on the floor, and you return back to that high plank position. Inhale, rocking forward, maybe going all the way down like a push-up, or putting your knees down to let yourself go all the way down to the earth. Settle in here for a moment, stretching your arms out behind you. We're gonna lift into a locust position, just a nice low locust. We're just starting to warm up the back. You don't have to go crazy here. Inhale and exhale. Placing your cheek onto the earth again, inhale up. Your hands can be different ways. You'll feel different sensations. The most important thing is you're sending energy behind you here. And exhale, let's do one more of those. Inhale. And exhale, tucking the toes, returning back into that down dog position. Reaching the opposite leg up into a 3-legged dog. Inhale here, exhale, knee to nose. That wasn't exactly on my nose, but you know, your body makes the shapes your body makes. So allow the freedom in that and not being stuck to what you think it should look like on an Instagram video. Turning those feet, those toes out, deep bend in the leg, warrior 2 on the other side. Feel like you're sitting proudly on top with this nice trunk, like you could pull the mat apart almost, stretching those legs out, ripping the mat. Inhale, reverse your warrior here. Feeling again that nice long line from fingertip all the way down to your hip. Inhale. And exhale. Placing the hands, repeating this. Take a deep breath in. Exhale all the way down. I'm going to move right into an up dog. If you want to do a smaller back bend here, feel free. But whatever back bend you're in, feel like this movement happens from your core. Pull those ribs in. Excellent. Repeating what we just did. Right leg above you in the 3-legged dog. Exhale, pulling that knee all the way through directly into a warrior 2 position. Now I do think I need to turn to face you here. So just imagine that I magically was facing you before. We're going to move into an extended side angle. So the bottom half of your body stays identical here. Deep bend in your leg. Have a couple options. You can place your hand on your knee here. You can place your hand right behind your leg. You can even grab a block or some other kind of support so you've got a little extra space here, and opening up that side arm so you can feel this nice long line going all the way through your body. Inhaling, exhaling here at extended side angle. It might feel good to put your arm over your head, continuing to knit those ribs together. And from this position, we're just gonna straighten our front leg. Everything else is gonna stay virtually the same and move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Not moving into your hyperextension in that front leg, pushing into your pinky toes, feeling that lift of your center here, opening nice and wide. Inhale and exhale. Remembering my friend, my friend. Moving through warrior two, replacing the hands into your high plank. Inhaling. Exhale, keep those elbows nice and tight. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Lifting that leg up again, inhale. Exhale, pull through to a warrior two. Now this time I am gonna be backwards because that way you can see my body in the different shapes and hopefully you can follow along. Turning that back leg out before we stand up, feeling the toes facing the opposite side here and really reaching and engaging through those pinky toes. You feel that strength. Lifting into your warrior two. Take a moment here just to sit on top of it. Like, again, you're pulling your mat apart. So feel that energy in your legs. Yes, we are just making an asana, a shape here, but we're actually doing a lot of work in the stillness. Isn't that true of life? You're doing so much work in the stillness. Man, I'm really deep this morning, you guys. Moving into an extended side angle again, you can put your elbow right here, resting on your bent knee. You can extend it down. Either way, keep that knee bent. Engage the thigh on this side. Take some deep breaths in, my friend, my friend. Thinking about how much you're loving me for leaving you in this position. Inhale, maybe moving your gaze to test your balance a little bit. And moving directly into that Trikonasana position. So you'll see in my hips, hopefully, from behind, that all I've done here is straighten my knee. I don't go into my hyperextension. I still feel that support. You may need to bend your knee if your legs are anything like mine, kind of hyperextended. Again, you're still pulling that mat apart, taking deep breath in and out, opening up your ribs, reaching back into that warrior two. Awesome. Bring yourself into a high plank. Big inhale. Exhale, tucking those elbows in. You almost want your elbows to be right at like your rib height, so that as you go down, you can see where I'm placing my hands, lifting into that upward facing dog. Feeling it start from your center into downward facing dog. Take a moment in down dog to pedal out your legs. Take a deep breath in and out. Moving into that plank position, feeling that core nice and tight. We're gonna move into a side plank. And yes, I know that makes you love me even more, I get it. But moving one hand to the front and rotating open. On an inhale, we're just gonna move through this like a flow. Exhale, inhale, open. I like to keep my drishti, or my focus, down on one spot without moving it to challenge my balance. I can also change my drishti, which I think I'm stumbling over that word, by the way, but you know, we're practicing here, people. Looking up to the sky kind of challenges your balance. Let's do one more, open. One more set. Always the option to lift that outside leg if you want to challenge yourself even more. Coming back into that plank position, pulling your knees back into child's pose. Returning to your breath, the one thing you can always control. Give yourself a moment in child's pose to maybe roll your forehead on the ground a little bit. Just to kind of let that all go. Take a few deep breaths into your lower abdominal, so feeling that like you're really expanding, almost like you're breathing from your back. Take a couple big deep breaths in and out. Placing your hands, one handprint in front of you. Tucking your toes and lifting. I'm going to get into this pigeon position next. So lifting your, whichever leg you feel like starting with. I like to do my right, because I'm right dominant, so I've got my right leg lifted. Same way we moved into that warrior two position, but this time we're going to go into a pigeon with a nice deep stretch in your glutes here. So a couple things to check on here. Now, I can be a little over flexible, I guess you would say, like lots of yoga people tend to be, or at least maybe you're working on it here. But what I want you to think about in this pigeon, instead of just like flopping down, whether or not you can flop down, reaching and lifting into that lower pelvic floor here. So here's the challenge, is staying just a little bit lifted. Feeling the engagement here and lifting your arms up to the sky. What we're trying to do is straighten your hips, almost like you got headlights on each hip bone, facing directly to the side, the long edge of your mat. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Maybe hands to prayer, feeling that engagement, that balance between your hands here. Stay lifted. And breathing on top of all of that. Lifting up, and yes, let's fold down a little bit, feeling more intense stretch, maybe untucking your toes a little bit. Most importantly is keeping that nice hip position. Taking a few deep breaths here. You can place your head as far down as you'd like. Careful not to overstretch yourself here. And just take it for what it is, you know? You can be here and you're still in pigeon. So let your body do what your body needs to do. Don't fight it. Don't fight yourself. You wouldn't say that to a friend, right? You'd let your friend be. So let yourself be here with some my friend deep, my friend breaths. Placing your hands back on the earth, grounding them, planting them, tucking your toe. Take that front leg and lift it directly into a three-legged dog. Returning back to that plank position. Inhale to your dog. Exhale to plank. Haha, a little sneaky ab work for you. You're welcome. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Feel the knitting of your ribs together. Inhale here. And exhale, staying in that down dog. Lifting that other leg up. We're going to move into pigeon again. So bending the knee. Maybe pointing the toe. Creating almost like a parallel position here and placing the knee down. Again, staying nice and lifted here. For me, this is a real challenge. I think this might be a weakness for me, but lifting that pelvic floor, engaging the lower abdominals, knitting the ribs together. Yeah, it's a lot to think about. So maybe just zone me out here and do what feels good, if anything does feel good in this position. Or challenge yourself. Think about those hip bones facing the long edge of your mat. Lifting your legs, your arms up to the sky. My friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. Allow yourself to fold forward as much as you want to. Maybe elbows on the earth. Maybe on this side, and both my legs are so different. Maybe on this side, it feels good to be completely down, stretching as long as you can. Feel like you're reaching. Yoga is opposition, right? So we're pulling on one side, pulling on the other side. But most importantly here is to breathe into my friend in, my friend. Planting those hands again. Take a look at them pointing your pointer fingers. Everyone's hands are different, but for me, pointing my pointer fingers to that short edge allows me to really widen my grip here. Tucking the toes and lifting directly into that three-legged dog on an inhale and exhale. Back to your dog. Tiptoeing your feet and your hands back to the center. Maybe taking a wide, maybe not super wide, but hip width distance here. Just a nice forward fold. I like to take my hands and place them at the base, not to pull, but just to add a little extra weight. Also considering in this position that your legs shouldn't be locked back. As I've mentioned before, I'm pretty hyper flexible than backs and my legs here. So I like to bend them because I really get a better release. So don't feel like you have to be in this like position like this. Maybe let it go a little bit, almost like you're in that same kind of connection that you have in your child's pose. And so you can really feel those deep breath expansions of your ribs here. That's feeling what works. Maybe some head nods, yes and no. And instead of rolling up today, we're going to think about knitting those ribs together, reaching the hands up nice far in front of us, kind of like we started class on our knees, and reaching in opposition to come up. See how I'm not splayed out here with my ribs open. I'm pulling them in and reaching one long line all the way up. Turning to face the front. Let's finish with some balancing today before we move into Shavasana. Take your left leg over into an eagle pose. So eagle pose you can do lots of different ways. You're going to be sitting back almost like you're in chair, folding the leg over. If you've got crazy long legs like me and you can wiggle it around like that, like a snake, feel free to do that. But you want to keep your hips facing front, lifting again in those abdominal muscles. You know, and there's lots of ways to do the arms in eagle actually. When you've got your right leg on top, you want to put your, left leg, trying to mirror you. And you want to put that arm on the bottom. Hands together and cross them. And if you fall over, like I just did, remember we're practicing. Take a deep cycle of breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Squeezing those legs together in eagle. Lifting your elbows just a little bit. Finding a point to look at. Boy, oh boy, let's hope I'm better balancing on my other side today. Anyone else feeling me here? Let's move into that other side. So you're going to cross your leg over, maybe wrap it around. Whatever leg is on top, that's the arm that goes on the bottom. You can start by giving yourself a big hug. Twisting those arms around. Remember to lift your elbows just a little bit. Remembering my friend, my friend. Placing the leg back, open the arms nice and wide, and just give yourself a hug. You can kind of pull in the backs of those shoulder blades maybe. Again, this might be a long arm woman problem, but if you can reach them. Either way, you can kind of pull a nice rounded position. Maybe putting your head down a little bit, letting go, just moving to a bit of a C curve. Inhale up, folding all the way forward again, trying to fold forward by knitting those ribs together, reaching the hands in front. And come to a seated position. Baddha Konasana, seated. Butterfly, knees out to the side. Lifting as much as you can. Your knees can be wherever your knees are. We're going to move our legs. We're going to fly our butterfly a little bit. Every time you press your knees down, feel like you're lifting all the way up. Feel that energy pulling you up to the sky here. Big inhale and exhale, reaching your hands forward. Take a few deep breaths here. Feel that opening. Just cooling down here, slowing down. I encourage you to finish out your practice by laying down on your mat, letting go of your practice today, taking just like 2 or 3 more minutes if you have it, just to quiet your mind, letting your thoughts just pass by. Every time you take an exhale, you're just kind of blowing your thoughts past. like a cloud. And remembering that all day today or tonight, whenever you're practicing, that you can return to that breath, being a friend to yourself, saying things a friend would say to you. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I look forward to practicing with you again soon. Thank you.